excuse me, I will be talking a little bit longer. I'm dealing with the EU legislation, and so some of my colleagues that are here from the Working Group for Cultural Affairs Committee in Brussels, and all the legislation that exists, we are dealing with it, and then the Council of Ministers is approving. So we know from our perspective what is realistic and what is not, and maybe to give you a few tips or to ask how to lobby on the politicians or in this way. I have a few remarks. I think you two mentioned very interesting things. It must be very short, it must be very clear, and I think usually in a culture you have just soft legislation. Be aware of that. So we have to be very skillful how to use this situation, because I think this is very by random. This is a very good situation for us. What is in Europe? I mean, concerning intercultural dialogue in the Western Europe, the problems that happened with immigrants and so. But be aware as well that on the other hand, Central and Eastern European concept and view on the intercultural dialogue is completely different. Therefore, if you would like to have the support of the ministers from their countries, which are a lot now, we must to add something. Maybe in a break we can talk together, or with Vlado Šucha, I see him here. The second thing, I think there were 3 communications in the past. I think this one is the best, according to what I heard. It's very important to be aware of that this communication, if we approved, and I agree, yes, will go not just to the November Council, but as well in December for the summit of the Prime Minister and the head of states. This is important. I think it never happened. The second thing is, or third, that by chance, by random, we have now in the Commission, and I think you have to appreciate in this document, in one word, in one sentence, that Commission is really our partner and our helper in all of those processes. And by chance, it constitutes with the people like from the top Commissioner Figel, Odell Kantan, Vladimir Šuchák, Xavier Trusar, all those people are working, I think, very successfully, and they are trying to help to move this forward. So, on the other hand, don't provoke the politicians that they are doing nothing. I think you have to encourage them, and that they have big chance in their hands, because they will decide, not the Commission. Commission is doing what they what they have to do, and they are doing good job from my point of view. But I think now it's necessary, and decision is on the politicians. Now they will be discussing just 3-4 hours tomorrow, and not just about intercultural dialogue. I don't know how effective will be people in other workshops, but it's very important that they will have, within these 3-4 hours, very short extract of what we want, because not just they speak, you speak, the politicians, ministers, and the European Commission, but as well your the thinking is many times not understandable for them. So we have to put to the way to communicate with them in these a few words, very short, what we want. And I think realistic is only to approve communication, to have structural dialogue with European Union. That's perfect. They're like EFAC and European Cultural Forum. That they are. What happened in last month? It's fantastic. And on the other hand, maybe in Western Europe, structural dialogue with the cultural sector will be okay. But I cannot imagine maybe our minister or minister from other Central Eastern Europe will afraid to have structural dialogue with cultural brands from different reasons. I can explain you in a break. But one of these is, for example, because the intercultural dialogue in Slovakia is concerning as well the problems, social problems, and as well many positive things with the gypsies, Romas. What is really, I cannot imagine that many ministers will play with this in the government. So I think the realistic is that another thing is just my idea. In case that intercultural dialogue, a year of intercultural dialogue, will be successful, and it depends of us, of Commission, and so on, and member states. maybe to think, I don't know if is it possible, within the next 7 years, because the program period is already approved, the financial perspective, but started like Culture 2000, the new program for intercultural dialogue, as well connect with what you said, that it's happiness, that Commissioner Fiegel is responsible not just for the culture, but as well for the education. And as well, it concerns creativity, but as well the things like religious dialogue and many other things. And there could be a kind of recommendation, or I don't know, maybe from the Commission, but as well from ministers, if we persuade them, Minister of Education, that there will be, I don't know, new subject in the schools. And I just say one example. I have a friend who is working in Slovakia, and who is doing intercultural dialogue in such a way that he is putting together for a few days within the state, no mobility within the Europe, even this will be perfect. And he put once like posh guys from the best grammar school in Bratislava, what is really European level of the school, with the girls which have been punished by some crimes and which studying at a very poor school. And you can imagine it was fantastic result of this a few days that they have been together. This is what we need, and it's possible as well within the country where we don't need so much money. So I will I will stop here because I have much more ideas, but we can discuss it in a break.